Midnight rain hammered the tin roof of the Hell's Angels garage when two soaked girls appeared in the doorway barefoot, shaking, eyes too old for childhood. The older one clutched a cracked phone. "Please, are you here to hurt my mama too? She's dying." The captain's jaw set. "Not on my watch. Before we start this story, tell us, where in the world are you watching from? Also, please subscribe to the channel. It will help us to bring you more inspiring stories every day." Storms rolled over Blackthorn Bend, a railroad town with more memories than money. Inside a low red brick garage at the edge of the freight yard, the Hells Angels chapter was closing up, tools clinking, coffee burning down, bikes ticking as heat faded. Their captain, Rowan Stone Mercer, wiped grease from his hands, scars catching the light like faded lightning. He'd learned to read danger in footsteps. These footsteps were small and terrified. Two girls stood in the doorway, drenched. The older, about 9, squared her shoulders like someone twice her size. "I'm Nova. This is my sister, Poppy. Mom's not waking up." Stone crouched slow, voice steady. "What's your mom's name?" "Tessa Quinn," Nova whispered. A man came. He said she owed him. He pushed her down. A flicker passed through Stone's eyes, recognition, then resolve. He rose and spoke without looking back. "Axel Medkit. Ghost warm the van. Ray text the hospital." No one asked questions. Engines coughed to life. Stone draped his leather over Nova's shoulders. "Show me where." She pointed toward the river lights. Trembling but brave, the convoy moved like a heartbeat through black rain for Holly, storming the puddled streets, a battered white van tucked in their wake. Stone rode lead, visor beaded with water, mind scanning possibilities. Nova and Poppy huddled in the van, wrapped in thermal blankets, eyes fixed on the captain's tail light like a lighthouse. Cut through Millspur, Ghost radioed. Flooded underpass ahead. Stone banked left, the chapter flowing behind him like iron in a current. They turned onto Switchman Lane, a string of foreclosed houses and warped porches, then stopped at a dim upstairs window blinking with weak blue TV light. "That one," Nova said, tapping the glass. The door hung cracked. Inside smelled of bleach and fear. Tessa lay on the kitchen tile, one hand under her ribs, breath shallow, a purple bloom rising along her cheek. A chair lay on its side. Splintered wood. Boot scuffs. A smashed phone. Stone knelt, fingers at her pulse. "She's here." He looked up. "Who did this?" Nova swallowed. "Vance Lyle, from Iron River." Stone's jaw shifted. "Yeah, I know him. Ray." The chapter's empty, slid beside Tessa, snapping on gloves. Pulse thready, ribs. Stone braced Tessa's shoulders. "Don't move, ma'am. You're safe." Her eyelids fluttered. "Girls." Nova knelt, knuckles wide around Poppy's hand. "We're here, Mom." Ray checked pupils, taped gauze across the cheek wound, then nodded toward the door. "We transport." Ghost swept the room, recording quiet details with a soldier's eye, boot size, brand, direction of drag. A red ledger sat open on the table, names, numbers, arrows. Vance's handwriting. Predatory math. Ray and Stone lifted Tessa onto a backboard while Axel carried Poppy's backpack and a stuffed sloth missing one eye. Thunder rolled close. "He said he'd come back tonight," Nova whispered, staring at the broken chain on the door. Stone met her gaze. "He'll find the wrong address, outside." Rain sheeted the van. "Ray, hospital," Stone ordered. "Axel, you shadow." "Ghost, with me." Ray frowned. "Stone, you going after Lyle?" He slid his helmet on, calm as loaded steel. "I'm going after the debt he forgot to count." Blue hospital lights scrubbed the storm's mean edges. Blackthorn General took Tessa fast trauma bay doors, folding her and Ray into fluorescent urgency. Nova and Poppy sat in the family room under a mural of cartoon trains, shivering in blankets too big. Staring at a vending machine that blinked exact change only, Stone bought 3 hot chocolates, handed 2 to the girls, and set the third beside an empty chair for their mom. "Is she gonna die?" Poppy asked, voice a small frayed ribbon. Stone's voice was low gravel softened with care. Not if we can help it. Nova fixed on his patch. People say you're the bad guys. Stone didn't flinch. People say a lot till they need a ride at 2 a.m. the automatic door side. The rain hissed beyond. A doctor stepped out, face tired but kind. Rib fractures, concussion, dehydration. She's stable. Nova sagged into the seat, shaking in relief. Stone stood. Ray stays with her. I'll be back. He bent to Nova. I promise safe. Safe includes tomorrow. Stone and Ghost rode back into the storm. Tires humming a line toward the scar on Blackthorn's map. Iron River Storage. Vance Lyle's front. The yard was a yard sale of rust forklifts, stacks of pallets, a burned-out sedan with weeds for teeth. A lone bulb buzzed above an office trailer. Stone killed his engine and listened. Lyle's laugh drifted through rain, slick with borrowed power. Stone's boots hit the gravel, patient, deliberate. He opened the trailer door. Inside, Vance counting cash, a framed photo of him shaking hands with somebody nobody should trust, a thin man by the window pretending not to exist. Well, look who the flood dragged in, Vance sneered, leaning back. Tell the charity club I'm collecting. Quinoes. Debt's debt. Stone's voice stayed even. You put hands on a mother. You terrorized kids, Vance grinned. Business, Ghost pointed at the ledger. Extortion. Stone stepped close enough to fog the man's glasses. Business ended when you touched family. Vance's smile thinned. You ain't the law. Stone nodded once. No, we're older than law. We're consequences. Vance's smirk curdled when Stone set the red ledger on the desk opened to a page tagged with a hospital wristband sticker. You don't just shake pockets, Stone said quietly. You shake pulse. Ghost unplugged the office camera and held up its SD card. Your boy by the window recorded everything. The thin man flinched. Vance stood, shoulders squaring. You gonna sermon me, Pastor? Stone nodded at a dent in the trailer wall shaped like a woman's head. I'm gonna stop you. Vance's grin returned, brittle. You and what law? Paper, Ghost replied, sliding a USB into Stone's palm. Times, dates, payments, threats. Stone leaned in. Walk away from Quinn. Walk away from River families, tonight. Vance's jaw pulsed. Or what? Or I stop asking. Rain hissed as the trailer door opened. Axel's silhouette filled the frame. Vance stared past Stone, calculating. You can't guard a hospital forever. Stone's eyes cooled. You won't find her there. Vance blinked. Where is she? Stone turned to leave. Where consequences camp. At Blackthorn General, Nova traced the condensation on a window, writing mom, and a crooked heart. Poppy slept curled against Ray's hoodie like a kitten beneath thunder. Stone carried a blanket into Tessa's dim room, setting it at the foot of the bed the way truckers leave offerings at shrines. Monitors clicked a slow, stubborn rhythm. The doctor nodded approval, stable. Scans in the morning. A child welfare worker arrived, polite, brisk, wary of leather and patches. I'll need a temporary contact, she said. Nova's fingers tightened around Stone's pocket chain. Him. Paperwork paused. Judgments fell quiet. Stone signed, printing carefully. Rowan Mercer, emergency contact. He crouched to Nova. You did the brave part. We're finishing. She looked at his scuffed knuckles. Does brave always hurt? Only until it helps. He walked her back to Ray, then stepped into the hall where the vending machine hummed like an old prayer. Ghost texted. USB cloned. Ledger scanned. County fraud tip filed. Stone replied. Good. Lock the doors. Outside, rain thinned to mist, like the town exhaling. The Angels moved Tessa to the clubhouse loft before dawn quiet. Legal. Signed by the attending under safe discharge for domestic risk. Bunkroom sheets smelled of detergent and gasoline. A donated baby monitor relayed her breathing to the kitchen like a seashell. Nova stacked crayons by color, building order where fear had lived. Axel brewed soup. Ghost changed every lock at Quinn's apartment and installed a camera pointing at the stairwell. Stone rode solo to Iron River's backlots and watched Vance's men load a van with bolt cutters, balaclavas, impatience. At the far fence, the thin man from the trailer key hovered. He approached without meeting Stone's eyes and slid a second flash drive into his glove. He keeps backups in the soda machine, Key muttered. I'm done. Stone nodded once. Then you're safer by noon, he texted Ray. Prep Tessa for detective. Evidence inbound. Back at the clubhouse, Poppy held up the stuffed sloth. He needs a jacket. Stone tore a sleeve from a broken shop rag and tied it on. Poppy smiled. Now he's brave too. Justice arrived with bad coffee and better timing. Two detectives took seats at the long workbench beneath a row of oily carburetors. Ghost laid out the ledger, the flash drives, and an audio clip of Vance joking about renting out fear. Ray documented Tessa's injuries. The attending added notes no defense could polish. A warrant sprinted through the printer at County. Stone's phone buzzed. Units at Iron River. He exhaled, then rode to Quinn's apartment where Axel and two brothers formed a quiet triangle around the stairwell. A rusted Silverado crept in Vance behind the wheel. To men masked with midnight. Evening, Stone said, voice flat. Stairs are closed. Vance swung out, smile like a broken bottle. Sirens uncoiled from the dark. Cruisers washed the lot in blue. One officer cuffed the masked men while another read Vance his rights. Vance stared at Stone over the trunk, hatred cooling to calculation. Bail by breakfast, he hissed. Stone's reply was a whisper with weight. And a restraining order by lunch, Vance sneered. Paper burns, Stone nodded. So do bridges, Paper tried to hold the line. Bail posted. A judge signed protection orders that crackled like fresh laminate. Vance walked free at 9:17 a.m., boasted by noon, and by dusk sent a message that wasn't a message, a drone hovering over the clubhouse lot. Ghost plucked it from the air with a shop broom, popped the SD card, and laughed once no humor. He wants us rattled. Stone looked past the gate toward the freight yard where sunlight pinned rails like silver threads. Then we make noise he can't talk over. By evening, 50 bikes lined Depot Street. The Angels formed a guardian run, not a parade, a promise. They idled to the elementary school curb. Nova and Poppy stepped out between Chrome and Boots, escorted to class beneath mirrored visors. Teachers blinking tears they pretended were wind. News traveled in front porch whispers. They shielded those kids. Tessa, propped by pillows in the loft, watched a live feed on the shop TV and cried quietly, the relief kind that steals breath. Stone set a mug beside her bed. Breakfast, he said, and loud hope. Evening found the Hells Angels lined across the ridge behind the clubhouse, engines cooling in rows like patient thunder. The convoy lights blinked red against the tree line as Stone addressed the brothers, his voice steady and low. He's out, but he's watching. We don't chase him. We protect ours. They nodded not in bravado, but in solemn agreement. Ghost marked rotation schedules on a grease board. Axel passed out radios labeled by call sign. Below, kids from the neighborhood left thank you notes on the fence, drawings of motorcycles and hearts scrawled in chalk. Stone caught Nova's handwriting on one. You kept the monsters away. He folded it into his jacket pocket without a word. Later, as twilight burned out, Tessa joined him on the porch, wrapped in Ray's oversized hoodie. Her voice shook. You don't even know us. Why risk all this? Stone looked toward the bikes. Because once, somebody rode for me. She studied his scarred hands, then whispered, then I hope someday I get to ride for someone too. Morning arrived soft, pink light spilling through exhaust haze. The Angels rode in pairs to escort Nova and Poppy home. Reporters waited near the crosswalks, cameras ready. But the brothers' formation said everything words couldn't. Headlines followed. Hell's Angels guard survivors after domestic assault case. Stone hated the attention, but knew visibility was armor. The prosecutor's office called Vance's crew folded fast under pressure. Key's testimony was airtight. Evidence stacked like bricks. By noon, warrants doubled. The town that once whispered now nodded in quiet respect. At the diner, where locals had once crossed the street to avoid patched jackets, the waitress refilled every biker's mug without asking. Nova drew another picture, this time of a heart wrapped in wings. When she handed it to Stone, he cleared his throat, unsure how to speak gratitude he wasn't used to receiving. "You made us family," she said. "No," he corrected softly. "You reminded us what one looks like." For the first time in weeks, he smiled, a real one, tired but alive. That night the wind shifted, bringing autumn's bite early. Stone parked his Holly behind the barn and leaned against the cold tank, eyes tracing the quiet highway. Ghost approached, tossing him a pack of smokes neither of them lit. "You ever think we're getting too old for this guardian angel thing?" Stone snorted. "You ever think about what happens if we stop?" Ghost shrugged. "Yeah. Every time I look at them kids." Silence stretched easy between them. Down in the yard, Nova was teaching Poppy how to write her name with chalk on the sidewalk, each letter crooked but proud. Ghost smiled faintly. "You realize she's spelling your name now, not hers." Stone looked, saw the word Stone scrawled unevenly beside a pink heart. "Guess I'm permanent marker now." They laughed, quiet and real, until headlights turned the road silver again. Axel returning from town with news. Vance pled guilty. No trial. The relief that followed wasn't loud. It came in exhales, shoulder slumps, and a single nod that meant everything. Days turned normal, the kind of normal that feels fragile enough to shatter. The Angels rebuilt their shop sign, new paint, same creed, ride hard, live true. Tessa started physical therapy. Her laughter, once brittle, now filled the garage like sunlight through dust. Nova and Poppy spent afternoons drawing bikes on cardboard scraps while the brothers fixed engines. Sometimes, locals stopped by to drop donations, groceries, toys, even blankets. Stone never asked who started it, but he suspected the same teacher who'd once called them hoodlums had passed the hat around. One Saturday, Tessa insisted on baking pies for the club. They ate on the porch, boots propped on railings, smoke curling into the crisp air. Axel raised a toast with a root beer bottle. "To family we found on the road," Ghost smirked. "And to the man who forgot how to smile till a 5-year-old drew him one." Stone rolled his eyes, but his grin stayed. For the first time in years, peace didn't feel like a visitor, it felt like home. Winter crept in with the hush of forgiveness. Frost silvered the bike chrome, breath clouded the dawn, and the rumble of engines echoed like prayer through Hawthorne Valley. Stone sat outside the clubhouse, watching Nova tie ribbons around the sloth's little rag jacket. Poppy danced in circles, laughing in her patched coat to sizes too big. Tessa, stronger now, stepped onto the porch with 2 mugs of coffee. She handed one to Stone. "For saving us," she said. He shook his head. "For reminding us why we ride." She smiled, eyes wet. "Then, what do you call what you did?" Stone looked toward the horizon where the highway split the fog. "Redemption, maybe. Or just being who we should have been all along." Engines fired behind them, brothers gearing up for a charity toy run. Nova squealed as Ghost lifted her onto his bike, Poppy clapping from the porch. The convoy rolled out, chrome catching sunrise. Tessa whispered, "Heaven's got noise today." Stone's laugh was low, rough, and full of peace. By December, the Hawthorne Valley road shimmered under sleet. The Angels Clubhouse, once a fortress of solitude, now glowed with crooked Christmas lights, Nova's doing, of course. Inside, the long table overflowed with plates, laughter, and warmth money couldn't buy. Tessa volunteered at a women's shelter. Ghost offered free repairs for single moms. Even Axel, rough as he was, played Santa in a fake beard and leather vest. Stone watched from the corner, quietly humbled. He wasn't the man who once rode endless highways numb to purpose. He was something better, anchored. When Nova climbed a chair to hang her clay holly ornament with angel wings, he steadied her shoulder. "Don't let go," she whispered. "Never," he replied. Snow fell soft and relentless. The rumble of distant engines faded beneath the hush. For the first time, brotherhood felt less like rebellion and more like grace, but peace, even hard-earned, never comes without echoes. Late one night, headlights flared against frost. A truck idled by the fence. Stone stepped outside, breath-fogging in the cold. Deputy Nolan climbed out, the same officer who'd once warned the Angels to stay out of town business. His tone was different now. "We found Vance's trailer torched. Someone left your patch near the ashes." Ghost joined him, jaw tight. "You know we didn't do that." Nolan nodded. "I do. But not everyone will." He handed Stone a folder, napkin, threats, revenge notes from Vance's crew. "They're coming." "Figured you'd want a heads up." Stone glanced toward the cabin where Tessa and Nova slept. "Appreciate it." When Nolan left, Ghost muttered, "Can't outrun ghosts, brother." Stone exhaled. "Then we don't run. We stand." The snow fell heavier, daring them to move. The attack came quiet, no engines, no shouting. Just boots crunching snow before dawn. Stone woke seconds before the first window shattered. Ghost grabbed the radio. Axel vaulted the railing, wrench in hand. Muzzle flashes lit the frost. Stone pulled Tessa and Nova to the hallway, shielding them behind the pool table. "Stay down." Glass rained from the shelves as bullets tore through bottles. Outside, the Angels fought back, not with rage, but with precision, years of loyalty forged into discipline. Tires spun, headlights vanished, and the attackers fled into the trees. Silence returned, broken only by snow melting on hot casings. Stone's shoulder bled. Tessa pressed against him, shaking. "You're hit." He smiled faintly. "Just a reminder I'm still alive," she whispered. "You weren't supposed to save us twice." By sunrise, the yard looked like peace after war. Deputies combed the area, flashlights cutting through mist. Vance's men were caught miles away, their tires slashed, their luck gone. Rumor said rival bikers blocked their escape out of respect. Brotherhood ran deeper than fear. Stone stood on the porch, arm in a sling, watching Nova chase snowflakes like war had never touched her. Ghost limped over, grinning. "We did it." Stone shook his head. "No, they did." He nodded toward the women and children laughing inside. Tessa stepped out, scarf bright in the dawn. "You ever think of stopping?" she asked. "Hanging up the ride," he smiled. "No, just slowing down to make room on the back seat." She laughed softly. "That a proposal?" He shrugged. "Call it an invitation to keep living." Spring returned like forgiveness. The Hells Angels rebuilt the shattered windows, patched bullet holes, and turned the clubhouse into something more, half workshop, half refuge. Kids came after school to polish chrome, to dream. Tessa started a charity called Iron Wings, helping abused families rebuild. Nova painted a mural outside, "Angels protect the broken." Stone watched her from the porch, sunlight soft on his scar. Ghost nudged him. "Didn't think we'd end up social workers," Stone chuckled. "We didn't, we just remembered what power's for." When dusk fell, engines roared once more, dozens of bikes rolling out, not for war, but for peace. Nova waved as the convoy disappeared down the open road, chrome gleaming like halos. "Ride hard. Love harder."